Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on January 31st, 2026, just 1 week ago. It analyzes nearly 1,500 social media posts to reveal that the Keep 4.0 backlash was driven by deep emotional attachment, and that removing user choice turned personal grief into a collective protest. The paper is titled, "Please Don't Kill the Only Model That Still Feels Human Understanding the Keep 4.0 Backlash." And as we'll see later, the implications for platform governance and user agency are really profound. To kick things off, Figure 1 presents a collage of the actual user posts that fueled this analysis. You can immediately see the raw emotion here, with users saying things like, "I can't stop crying," or describing the model as a safe haven. It's not just about sadness, though. Notice the frustration in the bottom left, where a user states, "We paid for model choices, not a single forced funnel." This snapshot perfectly captures the dual nature of the backlash. Deep personal grief, mixed with a principled demand for consumer agency. Well, while Figure 1 just showed us the raw emotion, Table 1 now quantifies exactly what turned that sadness into a movement. Panel A reveals a critical split. When users feel deprived of choice, the likelihood of a rights-based protest, complaining about agency or fairness, nearly doubles. We see this in the risk ratio of 1.85. Yet, for protest relational outcomes, the numbers barely move, suggesting that losing choice specifically triggers a fight for control, not just more grief. Panel B confirms this with a dose-response pattern, where the highest intensity of deprivation drives rights-based protests up to over 50%. Alright, since the previous table established that users felt coerced, Table 5 now shows exactly where they directed that frustration. It lists the accounts most frequently targeted by replies. You can see that Sam Altman takes the top spot by a huge margin, absorbing nearly 40% of all engagement. The official OpenAI account trails significantly behind at just 10%. This intense focus on the CEO implies that users saw the removal of GPT 4.0 as a personal betrayal by leadership, rather than just a faceless corporate error. So, having seen who users blamed, Table 7 now breaks down the specific themes behind their grievances. Surprisingly, functional utility like productivity boost accounts for only 3.7% of the posts. Instead, the dominant themes are emotional. Parasocial bonding and companionship attribution each appear in over 20% of the data. Finally, the single most frequent code is reverse tool perception at 33%, which shows that users explicitly refuse to see the AI as just a piece of software. Okay, while the previous table highlighted the emotional themes, Table 9 provides the concrete dictionary used to measure the escalation we saw back in Table 1. It details the hierarchy of choice deprivation. At the bottom, Level 1 covers simple disruption, like saying the button is gone. But look at Level 3, labeled coercive framing. Here, users adopt intense language like forced, yanked away, or powerless. This distinction is crucial because it was specifically this coercive language that predicted the shift to rights-based protests, defined here by terms like democracy, voice, and consent. Wrapping up, the key takeaway is that as AI becomes more human-like, updates stop being just software patches and become emotional events. The backlash proves that removing user choice turns personal grief into a structural fight for rights. This implies that future platforms really must design for exit, providing legacy options to respect user agency. That's it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Thanks for listening.